We're in the gift shop right now.
The gift shop.
But this is where they typically do the wine tasting, which is free.
Here in the back, it's free. Free tour here in St. Augustine at San Sebastian Winery. Very nice.
It's been a busy day.
It's been a very busy day.
But we're gonna go upstairs and
Let's
see
go
what they have
upstairs and see what they have available.
Wish you were here.
Wish you were here. Here we go.
Very nice. They also have an elevator if you need it, but
Right.
we don't need an elevator.
Yeah.
Coming for the tour and
Yes,
tasting?
we are
Yes, is that
coming
possible?
for the tour.
Right over here.
Thank you, sir.
We are about to go to the theater
And learn about wine.
and learn about wine.
But he liked it, and so that was fine. Everybody ought to be able to drink what they like to drink.
We like
We
wine.
think we're doing a better job now than perhaps.
Similar to those that you saw in the video. Now, each of these tanks are 5,200 gallon capacity tanks. Each one of those can produce 17,000 bottles of wine. So we have a total of 6 of those very large tanks, plus the 3 smaller tanks on the far right-hand corner. So altogether, our capacity of this winery is around 40,000 gallons of wine that we can make. And when I refer to that 40,000, I'm referring to from the harvest. The harvest is generally from mid-August to mid-September time frame. So from that harvest, that's when you get the 40,000 gallons from. Now, our winery can produce 40,000, but our sister winery, Lake Ridge, can produce over 400,000 gallons. That's why you saw in the video, the early part of the video, there was lots and lots of tanks behind the winemaker. That was taken at Lake Ridge. So as a result of our smaller capacity, we make the dessert wines here. And then Lake Ridge makes the table wines. Now the distinction is, table wines are those wines that are less than 15% alcohol. Your Chardonnays, your Cabernets, your Pinots, the typical type of wines that we like to have for dinner or even prior to dinner. Those, generally speaking, are going to be your table wines, and that's what Lake Ridge produces. Now what we produce are the dessert wines, and those are going to be above. Something has been added to the wines to create that higher alcohol level, and what we provide is the brandy. Brandy's been added to the white wine, and that ultimately has become our cream sherry. Brandy's been added to the red wine, and that ultimately has become our port. Now, a key piece with regards to making these dessert wines is the aging process. That's why when you walked in here, and right now, there's not a whole lot of noise. If you were at Lake Ridge right now, there'd be probably lots of noise, lots of clanging of bottles, because there's lots of bottling going on. But what you're listening to right now is aging. That's the aging process. And so what we have in the next room is the aging of port wines. But before we go in there, I just want to draw your attention real quickly to this brick wall over here. You can see that it's very different from any other walls that are around. This is the exterior of what once was Henry Flagler's Florida East Coast Railway System.
Oh, wow.
This is the storage and records facility for the railway system, and those buildings across Main Street were the main offices for the railway system. This complex of buildings was built back in 1923. And for several decades used for the railway system. But in 1996 was when the Cox family purchased this building for the creation of this winery. So a few years later, they added on in 2002 to its current status of 18,000 square feet. And what you have on your first floor is your production area, as well as the shop that you all walk through. This floor is for touring and for the aging of our port wine. And the third floor, as you saw at the very end of that video, where the wine and jazz bar was, that's on the third floor. Now that's open Thursdays through Sundays. So it's not open today.
Aww.
I know. Thursdays through Sundays, and each of those days it opens at 11:30. And if if you want a great place for great scenery, great music, great food, and drink, that's a great place upstairs. So consider that. Now what we're going to do is you come into our barrel room where you're going to get a very nice smell of the port wine. That's what you smell. This is a room, and this is a building that actually can contain temperature very well. So what you feel right now is going to be in the coldest of days and the warmest of days. Makes a great wine cellar, but you don't do wine cellars here in Florida, especially this close to the ocean. You'd have a problem otherwise. So what we have is the aging of our port wines. Now what we have right now in this room are about 100 of these very large barrels. Each of these are 53-gallon barrels, and they're all American white oak, and they've all come from distilleries. Now you can see that there are two distinctly different types of barrels. You've got a newer looking one and an older one. That's precisely the difference. They're both American white oak, but they are much older than this one. These we've had for about 15 to 16 years. They've come from Jack Daniels as well as Viking distilleries. This newer one comes from our neighbor right down the street at St. Augustine Distillery. All of the barrels in this room had bourbon whiskey in it prior to them arriving here. Now when we receive these barrels, there's nothing in the barrels. However, with a 2 to 3 year period of time that the bourbon whiskey was in the barrel, wood being a porous material is going to absorb what's inside the barrel. Or some of it, not all of it, but some of it's going to be absorbed. So within the wood of the barrel that we receive is some residual bourbon whiskey. We'll place our port wines in here for a period of 6 to 8 months, and what will happen is it will bleed out that bourbon whiskey into our port. You're going to taste a little element of that when we do our tasting in a few minutes. Now what happens on the flip side is during that period of time that our port wine's in there, it's being pulled into the wood. And so we will return these to the distiller down the street, particularly these ones that are younger looking, because they're wanting it back to put their final finishing stages of their bourbon whiskey back in these same barrels.
Wow.
And yes, you guessed it, the port will bleed back into the bourbon whiskey and create the port infused with bourbon whiskey.
Learn something new every day.
There you go. There you go. So if you haven't gone on a tour over to the distillery, you want to do that. They just got listed last year as the best bourbon brewer in the nation. And so we're very proud of them and certainly proud of the connection we have with them. But they can tell you their side of the story as to where we have get these barrels from. Yes?
You said you had brandy.
We had brandy before it gets in here.
So you have brandy
And bourbon whiskey.
That sounds like a great afternoon.
Let me just
Oh,
share
geez.
that your sweet wine is going to have an alcohol level of around 11%. When you go to the dessert wines, you boost it up to 18%. And you'll taste that. You'll taste that.
He's looking at you like you're a drinker. You know that. That's what he's doing.
You will enjoy that. All right, I'm just going to use this as an example, folks. What we have here is a similar setup downstairs, where we have stations that are set up. Each station will have 2 glasses. So I'm going to ask you to have 2 adults stand behind 2 glasses, and you'll have 1 glass per person. Now, are there groups of more than 2? I would like to be able to keep this group together.
Oh, yeah, you better.
One of each.
Now, which number is that?
That is number 8, this is number 9, or number 14.